On this episode, DECSA's transition program.
Addiction's not easy, so recovery shouldn't be either.
Welcome to Road to Hope. I'm your host, Bianca Jade. On this episode, we look at women that are transitioning off the streets out of a life of prostitution. They all have some things in common. For one, they all have reconnected with their children. And for two, you're about to see these women's inner strength. It's truly inspiring. Beatrix is preparing to do a check-in at the Distinctive Employment Counseling Services of Alberta. It's a safe place to get the skills and tools to start a new chapter in one's life. However, for Beatrix, it's the first time in a long time that she's felt safe.
I was actually forced into prostitution. It was basically, from a pimp. So, it was pretty drastic. But then after I got away from the pimp, I actually continued to choose that lifestyle because of the money and the power and the control that I felt like I was in charge of my life. I felt like I was in control because I've suffered from a lot of all kinds of abuse. And this is my way of taking my power and control back and making money off of it. So, in my mind, I thought, this is a good thing, right? It's really got to the point where I just, I'm just done with it. And one thing for me is like I had the train of thought that this was all I was good for. This is what I was put on earth for, was to be in this lifestyle. My self-worth was totally gone because I carried a lot of shame and guilt for years and years. And I honestly didn't think I was worth anything. So I'm really, really grateful. And, people can change. And I think it's just about, talking openly about where you're at and being around safe people and in a safe environment where people don't judge you. I realized, I don't want my daughter, to turn out like me. It's okay for me to be hurting myself, and I didn't think I was hurting anybody else, but I realized now that I was really affecting my daughter, and there's no way that I would want her to go on a lifestyle like this.
With her daughter as her focal point, Beatrix found the courage to reach out to caseworker Patty and join the Transitions program.
Basically, it's meant to serve people who have experienced sexual exploitation at some point in their lives, or they're leaving a sexual exploitation situation currently. And it's for people who want to change their lives and do something different with themselves career-wise and interpersonally as well.
Patty, just a few years ago, found herself at DECSA in order to escape the darkest period of her life.
That was in 2013, and in 2010, I had come to the bottom of my addiction life, and in that I was run over, robbed, and then run over again as I was crawling off the middle of the street. So that my hip and pelvis were broken, my jaw was broken bilaterally, both of the shelf bone under my left kneecap was broken, the small slim bone in the right calf was broken, and my right heel was crushed.
It's heartbreaking how fast these women can list these horrific events that they have gone through.
Having that happen, I took stock of my life and decided to turn my life around and got sober, did some treatment, and then decided I needed something more. When I first started coming to DECSA, I was pushing my walker from 118th Ave to 115th here to do classes, and the accessibility of this building is what promoted me to be able to go through to completion. Throughout my time at DECSA, I was doing a hepatitis C program treatment and completed that. That was horrific, but it's done and I'm clear.
Much like Beatrix, getting clean was powered by her strength to reconnect with her children.
After 35 years of active addiction and losing custody of my children, not having seen two of them for 30 years, my first two children, in the last year and a half, I've been able to see them twice. For me, it really was about just sticking it out to the end, regardless of how tough or how difficult or how painful, literally, physically painful, that might be.
A sentiment shared by fellow coworker Teresa, who also is a graduate of the program.
I walked the path that many of them have. I've been through 18 years of addiction. My children were apprehended from child welfare. I've been in prison many times. Did 3 federal sentences, 9 provincial sentences. And I've worked the streets as well. My life was in absolute chaos and addiction, completely. I used to bang needles, and be the worst One of the worst junkies there was.
Here at DECSA, she found strength in a caseworker that believed in her.
She actually walked through getting my kids back and everything from the system, which was very tough. So I had a huge challenge on my hands, and I knew I couldn't do it alone. So I came here, and she embraced me and walked me through it.
And now she gets the chance to embrace and empower others.
I'm really caring, but I'm also tough, because I don't believe in sugarcoating and making things easy. Because, I mean, addiction's not easy, so recovery shouldn't be either. You gotta work for it. And that's the message I give my clients a lot.
A joy that Beatrix is hoping to one day pass on.
Like, I'm actually going to school full time. You know, I'm studying my culture. You know, I want to be a social worker, and, you know, like, I'm doing the work. And, you know, when I walk down the street now, people don't look at me and say, oh, she's a prostitute, or she's, you know, whatever. You know, they don't know my story unless I choose to share it with them.
The hope today is in sharing their stories. They will inspire others to seek help.
Reaching out is the first step, and this is a safe place. We embrace people, we don't judge them, and we're here to support everything. Like, I will help women whatever they need, doesn't matter, and that they're not alone. People have been there and done it, and people have come out of it, so they can too.
It's hard to take compliments sometimes, but, you know, I really am proud of myself.
It was given to me by other people before I even knew Beatrix, and so I'm just paying it forward. If you don't share, then you lose out. You lose out so much. There's so much hope here.
For programs like DECSA to function, they need your help. If you're able to donate or volunteer, please follow the information on your screen. And I hope that today, if you're someone who's looking to transition off the streets, that you reach out. Here's the information. Thanks for watching.